Okay, this is our gathering here. This is extremely important, auspicious, and if you get the overview of what the Buddha Dharma is, you get a feeling that this is the most important thing in our life. Don't have? It's fine. Sit. Okay. So with this in mind, setting up a proper motivation. This is very important, and of course, this place is blessed by many teachers, and people who come here, they come with the heart to cultivate compassion, the heart to cultivate wisdom of emptiness, to practice the Dharma. So this place is no doubt blessed in many ways. At the same time, of course, setting proper motivation, and for each one of us, including myself, when we are here, when you practice the Dharma, it's much easier and it's more, it gives the results. You can feel that it's more effective. So with this in mind, the motivation, three things to keep in mind. Number one is setting the refuge field. Number two is Bodhicitta field. Number three is the purpose of this coming together, the purpose of practice. The first, the refuge field. Visualize your, the Buddha Shakyamuni, His Holiness the Dalai Lama, and all the teachers in the space in front of you, all the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas in the space in front of you. And when you visualize them as so loving, caring, and embracing. Next, the Bodhicitta field. Visualize your two grandparents on the two sides, and all of family members, including your children, and all dear mother sentient beings living on the side, the human beings, animals, insects, hungry ghosts, health beings, god and goddesses, and particularly the difficult people. In some cases, we believe in non-human being spirits to be very harmful to you. Just visualize all of them, particularly the difficult ones. And here, how you visualize them, that you are so loving, caring, and embracing, living on the side. And the purpose of this practice is to awaken the seed of Buddha nature within you, the seed of perfection within you. That our mind, it is what we seek is infinite, the fearlessness and infinite happiness, which with no fear, with no miseries. And it is there within us, but why don't we feel that? We feel the opposite. It's because that nature is mixed with the metal dirt. So our job is to remove the metal dirt, so that the experience, the seed of perfection within us, fearlessness and the infinite happiness, they blossom in full form. And for that matter, we need to apply the remedies to remove the metal dirt. Apply the remedy to remove the metal dirt. We know what to apply. For this application, which is a meditation, for this we require the conviction. Without the conviction, we don't know how to meditate, and even the meditation will not be with any force. So we need conviction, and the conviction is gained through extensive learning. So it's for this reason that the retreat here is for extensive learning, to create the platform for to gain conviction, for analysis, and through this conviction, once you gain the conviction that yes, this is the way, this is the remedy by which to cleanse my mind, and then your job is to practice it constantly. That is known as the wisdom drive-through meditation. So on the keeping in mind this whole purpose and imagining that all the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, they're watching us, and that you are leading this practice, and all the beings are joining you. Page 3. And as we recite these verses, just try your best to know the meanings, reflect on the meanings, and invoke the experiences. This is so important. And teach with great compassion, you taught the Immaculate Dharma to dispel all perverted views. To you, the Buddha Gautama, I pay homage. And teach with great compassion, you taught the Immaculate Dharma to dispel all perverted views. To you, the Buddha Gautama, I pay homage. And teach with great compassion, you taught the Immaculate Dharma to dispel all perverted views. To you, the Buddha Gautama, I pay homage. Sanje jodo zoge jonam na chanjo bado dane yansoje. Age jinso yebe sonam ye dola benjir sanje dubare sho sanje joda zoge chonam chanjo bado dane yazuje dage jinso yebe sonam ye dola benjir sanje dubare sho sanje joda zoge chonam lai chanjo bado dane yazuje dage jinso yebe sonam tola benjere sanje dubare sho. I go for refuge until I'm enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. By my accumulations of practice of giving and so forth, may I become a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. I go for refuge until I'm enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. By my accumulations of practice of giving and so forth, may I become a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. I go for refuge until I'm enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. By my accumulations of practice of giving and so forth, may I become a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. Independent origination, there is no ceasing, no arising, no annihilation, no permanence, no coming, no going, no separateness, and no sameness. I prostrate to the consummate Buddha, the supreme among all teachers, who are taught this peace which is free of elaborations. I prostrate to the mothers of the hearers, the Bodhisattvas and the Buddhas, who through the knowledge of all lead hearers seeking passage to complete peace, who through the knowledge of paths cause those helping migrators achieve the aims of the world, and who through the possession of nations help subdue and expound a variety of teachings. The one who has transformed into the reliable guide, motivated by altruism to benefit sentient beings, the teacher, Sugata and protector, to you I make prostrations. The one who has eliminated the web of conceptualizations and is endowed with the divine bodies of the vast and the profound, who eternally shines forth the forever noble light rays, to you the Buddha I make prostrations. Inspired by wisdom and compassion, today in the Buddha's presence, I generate a mind of full awakening for the benefit of all sentient beings. Om ye dharma hetu prabhavam hetum te sham dathagato yavatat te sham chayo nirodha evam vadi mahashramanaye swaha. Om ye dharma hetu prabhavam hetum te sham dathagato yavatat te sham chayo nirodha evam vadi mahashramanaye swaha. Om ye dharma hetu prabhavam hetum te sham dathagato yavatat te sham chayo nirodha Shramanaye Swaha. Meaning of the Tenjin mantra. All phenomena arise from causes. The causes are taught by the Tathagata. The cessation of causes as well is taught by the great seer. Profound, peaceful, elaboration-free, clear-light and non-composite. Such is the nectar Dharma I have discovered. Finding no one who can fathom this teaching, in silence I return to the woods. Beyond our trends, thought and expression is the perfection of wisdom, which is unborn, unceased, and has the nature of space. It is the object of apprehension of self-realized wisdom. To you, the mother of the Buddhas, of 3 times our obeisance. All composite things are impermanent. All contaminated things are the nature of suffering. All phenomena are the nature of emptiness and selflessness. Transcendent sorrow is peace. The Guru is the Buddha, the Guru is the Dharma, likewise the Guru is the Sangha, the Guru is the source of everything wholesome. I go for refuge in the Guru. By the sound of the vibrant drum of Dharma, you liberate all beings of miseries. I beseech you to kindly remain and give teachings until the end of the expanse of billions of aeons. The Buddha does not watch the negativities of beings, nor does he remove their miseries by his hands. His spiritual realizations are not transferred to them. It is by teaching the truth of the suchness that the beings are liberated. With folded hands, I beseech the Buddhas of all directions to shine the light of Dharma for all bewildered miseries glow. If you are attached to this life, you are not a spiritual practitioner. If you are attached to samsara, you have no renunciation. If you are attached to your own self-interest, you have no bodhicitta. If there is grasping, you do not have the view. The Buddha Shakyamuni, praise to Buddha Shakyamuni, page 14 in English. To the founder, the endowed transcendent destroyer, the one gone beyond, the four-destroyer, completely perfected, full awakened being, perfect in knowledge and in good conduct, Sugata, knower of the world, supreme God of human beings to be tamed, teacher of gods and human. To you, the complete and full awakened one, the endowed transcendent destroyer, the glorious conqueror, the subduer from the Shailya clan, I prostrate, make offerings and go for refuge. When, O Supreme amongst humans, you are born on this earth, you paced of 7 strides, then said, Supreme in this world, to you who are wise, then I prostrate. With pure bodies, form supremely pure, wisdom ocean like a golden mountain, fame that blazes in the 3 worlds, winner of the best, Lord, to you I prostrate. With a supreme science, face like a spotless moon, color like gold, to you I prostrate. Dusty like you, the 3 worlds are not, incompatible wise one, to you I prostrate. The Savior having great compassion, the founder having all understanding, the field of marital qualities like a vast ocean, to you the Tathagata I prostrate. The purity that frees one from attachment, the virtue that frees one from the lower realms, one path, the sublime pure reality, to the Dhamma that pacifies I prostrate. Those who are liberated and also show the path to liberation, the holy field qualified with realizations, who are devoted to the moral precepts, to you the Sangha I prostrate. Do not commit any non-virtuous actions, perform only perfect virtuous actions. Subdue your mind thoroughly, this is the teaching of the Buddha. A star, a visual aberration, a flame of lamp, an illusion, a drop of dew, or a bubble, a dream, a flight of lightning, a cloud, see conditioned things as such. Through this merits may sentient beings attain the rank of all-seeing, subdue the 4 faults, and be delivered from samsara's ocean, perturbed by the waves of aging, sickness, and death. Okay, Heart Sutra on page 29. The Heart Sutra, Professional Wisdom Sutra. I prostrate to the Arya Triple Gem. Thus did I hear at one time the Buddha was together on the Master of Arches mountain in Rajgriha, together with a great community of monks and a great community of bodhisattvas. At that time, the Buddha was absorbed in the concentration on the categories of phenomena called a profound illumination. Also at that time, the Bodhisattva, Mahasattva, Aravadaguteshvara looked upon the very practice of the profound illumination of wisdom, and behold, those 5 categories also as empty of inherent nature. Then through the power of the Buddha, the Venerable Shariputra said this to the Bodhisattva Mahasattva Avalokiteshvara. How should any child of the lineage who wishes to practice the activity of the profound professional wisdom train? He said that, and the Bodhisattva Mahasattva Avalokiteshvara said this to the Venerable Shariputra. Shariputra, any son of the lineage or daughter of the lineage who wishes to practice the activity of the profound professional wisdom should look upon it like this, correctly and repeatedly, beholding those five aggregates also as empty of inherent nature. Form is empty, emptiness is form. Form is also not an emptiness, emptiness is also not other than. In the same way, feeling, discrimination, composite factors, and consciousness are empty. Shariputra, likewise, all phenomena are empty, without characteristic, unproduced, unceased, stainless, not without stain, not deficient, not fulfilled. Shariputra, therefore, in emptiness there is no form, no feeling, no discrimination, no composite factors, no consciousness, no eye, no ear, no nose, no tongue, no body, no mind, no visual form, no sound, no smell, no taste, no object of touch, and no phenomenon. There is no eye element, so on up to and including no mind element, no mental consciousness element. There is no ignorance, no extinction of ignorance, and so on up to and including no aging and death, and no extinction of aging and death. Similarly, there is no suffering, origination, cessation path. There is no exalted wisdom, no attainment, also no non-attainment. Shariputra, therefore, because there is no attainment, bodhisattvas rely on and dwell in the perfection of wisdom, the mind without obscuration and thus without fear. Having completely passed beyond error, they reach the end point of nirvana. All the Buddhas who dwell in the three times also manifest a complete awakening to unsurpassed and perfect, complete enlightenment in reliance on the perfection of wisdom. Therefore, the mother of the perfection of wisdom, the mother of great knowledge, unsurpassed mantra, the mantra equal to the unequaled, mantra that thoroughly pacifies all suffering, should be known as truth, since it is not false. The mantra of the perfection of wisdom is declared, Yatha Om Gade Gade Bara Gade Bara Sam Gade Bodhi Swaha. Shariputra, the Bodhisattva Mahasattva should train in the profound perfection of wisdom like that. Then the Buddha arose from that concentration and commanded the Bodhisattva Mahasattva Avalokiteshvara, saying, well said, son of the lineage, it is like that, it is like that. One should practice a profound professional wisdom, just as you have indicated. Even the Tathagatas rejoice. The Buddha, having thus spoken, the Venerable Shariputra, the Bodhisattva Mahasattva Avalokiteshvara, those surrounding the entirety, along with the world of gods, humans, asuras, and gandharvas, were overjoyed and highly praised as spoken by the Buddha. We'll recite this 7 times together. Gade Gade Para Gade Para Sam Gade Bodhi Swatyatha Om Gade Gade Para Gade Sam Gade Bodhi Swatyatha Om Gade Gade Para Gade Para Sam Gade Bodhi Swatyatha Om Gade Gade Para Gade Para Sam Gade Bodhi Swatyatha Om Gade Gade Para Gade Para Sam Gade Bodhi Swatyatha Om Gade Gade Para Gade Para Sam Gade Bodhi Swatyatha by the teachings of three supreme jewels, possessing the power of truth. May in and outer hindrance be transformed. May they be dispelled. May they be non-existent. May they be pacified. May all negative forces opposed to the Dharma be completely pacified. May the host of 80,000 obstacles be pacified. May we be separated from problems and conditions harmful to the Dharma. May all enjoyments be in accord with the Dharma. May auspices of perfect happiness pervade this place now. Okay, we'll read the 8 verses of mind training, which is page 35. 8 verses of mind training is primarily for the compassion, to grow your compassion, and the Heart Sutra is primarily for the wisdom of emptiness. 8 verses for training the mind by Geshe Damdul. With the determination to achieve the highest aim for the benefit of all sentient beings, which surpasses even the wish-fulfilling gem, may hold them dear at all times. Whenever I interact with someone, may I view myself as the lowest amongst all, and from the very depths of my heart, respectfully hold others as superior. In all my deeds, may I probe into my mind, and as soon as mental and emotional afflictions arise, as they endanger myself and others, may I strongly confront them and avert them. When I see beings of unpleasant character, and those oppressed by strong negativity and suffering, may I hold them dear, for they are rare to find, as if I have discovered a jewel treasure. When others out of jealousy treat me wrongly with abuse, slander, and scorn, may I take upon myself their defeat and offer to others the victory. When someone whom I have held or in whom I have placed great hopes mistreats me extremely in hurtful ways, may I regard them still as my precious teacher. In brief, may I offer benefit and joy to all my mothers, both directly and indirectly. May I quietly take upon myself all hurts and pains of my mothers. May all this remain undefiled by the stains of the 8 mundane concerns, and may I, recognizing all things as illusions, devoid of clinging, be released from bondage. From my two collections, vast space that I've amassed from working with effort at this practice for a great length of time, may I become the chief leading Buddha for all those whose minds wisdomized blinded by ignorance. Okay, we'll recite this 7 puja. I bow down to the youthful Arya Manjushri. You, the Buddhas, the lions amongst humans, gone to freedom in the present, past, and future, and the worlds of 10 directions. To all of you with body, speech, and sincere mind, I bow down, with the energy of aspiration for the Bodhisattva way, with a sense of deep respect, and with as many bodies as atoms of the world. To all you Buddhas visualized as real, I bow down. On every particle are Buddhas, numberless as atoms. Each of them is a host of Bodhisattvas, and I'm confident the sphere of all phenomena is entirely filled with Buddhas in this way. With infinite ocean of praise for you, and oceans of sound from the aspects of my voice, I sing the breathtaking excellence of Buddhas and celebrate all of you Sugādhas. Beautiful flowers and regal garlands, sweet music, scented oils and parasols, sparkling lights and sublime incense offered to victorious ones, the Buddhas. Fine dress and fragrant perfumes, sandalwood powder heaped high as Mount Meru, all wondrous offerings in spectacular array offered to you victorious ones. With transcendent offerings, peerless and vast, with profound admiration for all the Buddhas, with strength of conviction in the Bodhisattva way, offer and bow down to all the victorious ones. Every harmful action I've done with my body, speech, and mind, overwhelmed by attachment, anger, and confusion, all this I openly lay bare before you. I lift my heart and rejoice in all the merit of the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas in 10 directions, of solitary realizers here as still training and those beyond, and of all ordinary beings. You who are the bright lights of worlds in 10 directions, who have attained a Buddha's omniscience through their stages of awakening, all you who are my guides, please turn the supreme wheel of Dharma. With palms together, I earnestly request you who may actualize parinirvana, please stay with us for aeons, numberless as atoms of the world, for the happiness and well-being of all wanderers in samsara. Whatever slight merit I may have accumulated by my prostrations, offering and confessing, rejoicing and requesting that the Buddha stay and teach, I now dedicate all this for the full awakening of all beings. Ultimate offering. This ground anointed with perfume, strewn with flowers, adorned with Mount Meru, the four continents, the sun and the moon. I imagine this is a Buddha field and offer it. May all sentient beings enjoy this pure land. May I be blessed that my mind is directed towards the Dharma. May I be blessed that my Dharma practice is on the proper path. May I be blessed that the path is free of flaws. May I be blessed that the flaws are seen in the light of exalted wisdom. Becoming utterly frustrated with ignorance that grasps with true existence, please bless me to generate genuine renunciation, seeing all aspects of samsara as viciously repulsive. Please bless me that my mind stream overflows with a precious bodhicitta that cherishes others more than myself. Please bless me to have an immaculate experience of the wisdom of emptiness that does not see even an atom of intrinsic reality on the basis of understanding how things come into being by dependent origination through mere conditioning. Please bless me that my mind stream overflows with the precious wisdom of the non-duality of bliss and emptiness. Edam Guru Radha Mende Lagam Nirateyami. Okay, next foundation for all good qualities. The foundation of all good qualities is a kind and perfectly pure Guru. Correct devotion to him is the root of the path. By clearly seeing this and applying great effort, please bless me to rely upon him with great respect. Understanding that the precious freedom of this rebirth is found only once, is greatly meaningful and is difficult to find again. Please bless me to generate the mind that unceasingly day and night takes its essence. This life is as impermanent as a water bubble. Remember how quickly it decays and death comes. After that, just like a shadow follows the body, the results of virtues and non-virtues come or follow. Finding firm and definite conviction in this, please bless me always to be careful to abandon even the slightest negativity and accomplish all virtuous deeds. Samsaric splendors are unsatisfying and unreliable. Seeking them is the door to all suffering. Recognizing these shortcomings, please bless me to generate a strong wish for the blissful liberation. Led by this pure thought, mindfulness, the alertness and great caution arise. The root of the teaching is keeping the Pratimoksha vows. Please bless me to accomplish this essential practice. Just as I have fallen into the sea of samsara, so for all mother migratory beings. Please bless me to see this trained in Supreme Bodhicitta and bear the responsibility of freeing migratory beings. Even if I develop Bodhicitta, but I don't practice it, the three types of morality, I'll not achieve enlightenment. But in a clear recognition of this, please bless me to practice the Bodhisattva vows with great energy. Once I pacify distraction to wrong objects and correctly analyze the meaning of reality, please bless me to generate quickly within my mind stream the unified part of the karma abiding special inside. Having become a pure vessel by training the general path, please bless me to enter the holy gateway of the fortunate ones, the supreme Vajra vehicle. At that time, the basis of accomplishing the two attainments is keeping pure vows and samaya. I have become firmly convinced of this. Please bless me to protect these vows and pledges like my life. Then having realized the importance of the two stages, the essence of Vajrayana, by practicing with great energy, never giving up the 4 sessions, please bless me to realize the teachings of the Holy Guru. Like that, may the Gurus who show the noble path and the special friends who practice it have long lives. Please bless me to pacify completely all outer and inner hindrances. In all my lives, never separated from perfect Gurus, I enjoy the magnificent Dharma by completing the qualities of the stations and the paths, I could attain the state of Vajratara. First we say the maximum mantra in the English, followed by the Tibetan with the melody. For information, I'm going to explain a little bit about this, those of you who are new to this. This maximum praise is actually written by Lama Tsongkhapa himself, and he wrote it for his teacher, who was Jisverenda Washinulutu. And the teacher, he read this, what his student wrote, and then he deleted his own name, and he replaced it with the student's name, Lama Tsongkhapa, of course, who was extremely enlightened. And the teacher removed his name and replaced it with the student's name, Lama Tsongkhapa's name, and said that this praise fits better with you than me. And then it's given back to him, and it became so widely set in Tibet, all over in Tibet. So this very blessed, initially composed by Lama Tsongkhapa for his teacher, and his teacher gave it back to him. So it is extremely blessed, and particularly today in this world where the modern education dominates the whole world, here with the critical thinking, analytical thinking, Lama Tsongkhapa's teaching is so relevant, and this is how we can take steps to become enlightened, rather than imagine ourselves to be like great yogis right from the beginning, while we are not. So this is so precious. Let's pray to Lama Tsongkhapa that we are able to follow his footsteps to the state of full awakening. Okay. You are Avalokiteshvara, great treasure of non-referential compassion, and Manjushri, master of flawless wisdom, as well as Vajrapani, destroyer of hosts of demons without exception. Tsongkhapa, crown jewel of the sage's land of snows, Lobsantaba, at your feet I make prostrations. As you can see in this praise, it is when Lama Tsongkhapa he saw his own teacher in the light of these three perfections, the perfect compassion, perfect wisdom, and the perfect power. Perfect, the compassion manifested in the form of Avalokiteshvara, the Buddha of Avalokiteshvara, or Bodhisattva of the Bodhisattva of compassion in the context of the Sudra system. And then Aramajishri, the manifestation of the wisdom. And finally, Vajrapani, the manifestation of the power. So this is how the three qualities which we discussed yesterday as a part of the bodhicitta. When you aspire to become Buddha, may I become Buddha. So why this Buddha becomes so important is that you are endowed with these three qualities. With these two qualities, you are able to benefit the beings spontaneously. Okay. The next is generating the mind of consummate yoga. The actual meditation now. Okay. So should there be some of us who are not exposed to meditation, then I'm going to give a quick the intro of what the single point meditation is like, and those of us who are already familiar with meditation, you can do your own meditation. Today I'm going to give this explanation, and from tomorrow, no explanation, which means that from tomorrow that all of us should be able to follow the instructions well in the meditation. For the good meditation, 4 points to keep in mind. One is the body posture. Yes, we did explain this yesterday, but we're going to do it again should there be newcomers. The body posture, number one. Number two is focal point. Focal point meaning what you're going to meditate on, what you're going to focus on. Then number three is identifying the errors of meditation. Number four, applying the remedies to overcome the errors. 4 points. One, the body posture. Body posture is very important, particularly for us, the beginners. The body posture makes a whole difference. Number one is cross-legged. Cross-legged it may be a little difficult for us, and if you find it difficult, try it, and when it starts paining, just release the legs in its most comfortable form. Say the left foot on your right leg and the right foot on your left leg. Okay, this is how we do. And once you start feeling the pain, then again release it. Let it be in its most comfortable position. And again, once the pain is gone, bring it back. This is how we train. And eventually we see that this is a very comfortable posture. And with this, your meditation, you can last longer in terms of the rigor, maintaining the rigor. Your mind you can keep your mind more alert. And number two is the backbone upright. This is so important, and there's a difference seeing the back upright and seeing the back hunched. There's a difference there. The moment you keep your body like this, instantly you feel that your mind is a little, the rigor disappears. It simply becomes lax, and body upright is extremely important. Extremely important. And at home, when you do this, even though there may be a wall behind you as support, but don't lean against the support. So don't lean against the support. The moment you lean it again, when you become experienced in meditation, you could feel that instantly the mind relaxes, and the relaxes not in a good way. It loses the rigor. While your body is upright, make sure that your body is not rigid, it is flexible. This is so important. And then your head tilted forward a little bit, and next your eyes should not be closed. And only when you become expert in meditation, then sometimes you can keep your eyes open, eyes closed, lie down. It's fine. It will not have much difference in your meditation, but as beginners, to keep your eyes open is extremely important, because initially you may feel that to keep the eyes open, keep eyes closed, your meditation flows better, but in the long run it can be a great impediment to the growth of your meditation. So eyes must be half open, keep 4 to 5 minutes cast down, and ignore, and you can feel the difference. Okay, and the tip of the tongue should touch the upper palate to avoid excessive accumulation of saliva in the mouth. And then keep the teeth and the lips in a natural course. Breathe normally. Don't force the breath. Don't control the breath. Breathe normally. And your right hand on your left hand, the two thumbs joining, forming a triangle. Place the two hands on your lap in a restful state. Okay, this is your body posture. The focal point. What are you going to focus on? What are you going to meditate on? So, meditation, there are two kinds: analytical meditation and single point meditation. And later on, I'm going to explain more in detail on this later on, not now. And so what we're doing is this single point meditation. For this matter, it is to build our mind, the steadiness, the quality of the steadiness of the mind. This is what for we're doing this practice. So for that matter, as for the object, there are hundreds of different objects, and if you read Adya Sangha's text, the Shavaka Bhumi, you will see that there are so many versions of the meditation, the focal points are indicated. So the one that we are doing here is a very simple one, yet very effective. Say there are two things happening. One, counting your breath. Breathe in, breathe out. Cycle 1, breathe in, breathe out. Cycle 2. This is what we do. Then number two is visualizing a tiny white dot between your nose and upper lip. Okay, all of us touch this spot on the between the nose and upper lip. Just touch it. You will feel it, even though you may not look at it, but you could feel it. Okay, so likewise you scratch yourself at your back. Scratch it, you will feel it. You will feel it. Yes, I'm scratching myself, although you're not looking at it. So your eyes of Purvati is cast down, but your mental consciousness is meditating. So here, with the meditation, your eyes have nothing to do. Just keep it open to maintain the freshness. That's it. And what meditates is your mental consciousness. So this is what we're going to meditate. And this mental consciousness has a tremendous power to visualize here inside your brain, inside your heart. It can just go anywhere if you train your mind so well. This mental consciousness has tremendous power to go anywhere into the cells. It has such a power. So for the time being, we just direct our mental conscissness to this spot between nose and upper lip. Okay, so these two things should be happening simultaneously. And of course, if you have more analytical discussions, or if you have some logical discussions in your class about how the two minds can simultaneously arise, that's a different discussion. We'll do that. We can do that later on. But here, we will do the two things together. Multitasking, in other words. Okay, so this is what we're going to focus on. And over time, if you find difficulty, because we still have time, like 10 days, if you find difficulty with any of these focal points, feel free to let me know. And we can see how to fix those problems. Next is what are the errors, what potential errors can arise when you meditate. There are two errors. One is overactivity of the mind, which is also referred to as mental excitement. And one is inactivity of the mind, which is referred to as the mental laxity. So these two, if any of these two things happen, we have to apply the remedies. Number 4. So when these two things, when you are sitting nicely with a good body posture, and your mind starts to feel lax, your mind starts to sink. When that happens, then the laziness also comes in, and you don't feel like getting up. You just feel continuing meditation. This is not a good thing. When the mind sinks in, or when the mind starts to be scattered here and there, you must apply the remedies. And if it's too much, then you must get up. Get up, and you can put some cold water and sprinkle some cold water on your face, and then look around to make your mind more fresh. So there are various tips there. The thing is that when you fall under any of these two problems, you must have to apply the remedies. Number 4, remedies. Remedies, there are two: introspection and mindfulness. So one is that our mind is so addicted to go outside, and where our mind is also addicted to sleeping. These are the two things. Because of this, just what you're trying to do is you're trying to manage your mind. Manage your mind, not to let the mind go astray, not to let the mind go in its own ways. Instead, keep watching your mind to tell the mind that, okay, just be on the focal point. This is what you should be doing, and this is to see if your mind is distracted or if mind is sinking into laxity. And you see that your mind is distracted or sinking with laxity, then go for the mindfulness. Mindfulness is to bring the mind back to the intended object of meditation. Okay, this is what I'm going to do for 5 minutes. Ready? Okay. Next is renunciation. For the renunciation, we use the four seals of the Buddha's teachings, and it's going to be more guided meditation. As I said yesterday, that when we do this meditation, our job is just try to invoke the experience, reflect on meanings, following the instructions, and see if you can invoke the various experiences. That is so important. And if you try to correlate what you've learned before and what is being said here, then you will not get a chance to invoke the experiences. And invoking the experiences, finally the meditation is that you feel impermanence, you feel the suffering nature of samsara, you feel the emptiness nature of the phenomena, you feel your, say, the peace of mind, which is nirvana. So this is what we should be doing, and just try to, in other words, just try to follow the instructions and invoke the experiences. Okay. And meanwhile, if you're already exposed to the earlier studies, for example, there are many here who I know, they have been doing the master's course, the diploma course, and the certificate course, and some of you also doing basic courses from the Nalanda University and so forth. So they say the more you are exposed to those studies, as I explained, it's not just a simple meditation. Perhaps you will notice some nuanced points are also being indicated, and so you should be able to catch those things. And during the group discussions, and particularly those who are more exposed to the studies, where you see some nuanced points, I would highly suggest you to bring this in the class, so that others who may not have noticed these nuances, they also get to know what these nuanced points are. Are you ready? Okay, take 3 deep breaths. Renunciation. It is to renounce your miseries. To renounce the miseries, we need to know how to renounce the causes of miseries. As the Buddha indicated, Ye dharma hetu prabhava. All these phenomena arise from the causes. All these phenomena of the miseries, of the pains, they arise from the causes. And the Buddha identified the causes as the 4 misconceptions. Misconceiving impermanent phenomena as permanent, misconceiving the suffering nature as happiness, misconceiving impure as pure object, and misconceiving selfless nature as of selfhood. Fixing the 4 misconceptions, we eradicate the 4 causes, the main causes of the miseries. And eradicating the cause of miseries, the miseries come to an end. And of course we need to keep in mind that all these miseries, they are the direct result of the contaminated karmas. And the contaminated karmas are the direct results of afflictions. And afflictions are the afflictions, meaning the gross afflictions, such as attachment, anger, jealousy, and so forth. And these gross afflictions are the direct results of ignorance. Of course, in between there's the inappropriate attention, but let's say the ignorance. And so, getting ignorance or the misconceptions, getting rid of these misconceptions will help us eradicate the next cause, and then the gross afflictions, then the contaminant karmas, and eventually your miseries come to an end, where your mind starts to feel acute peace, absolute peace, which is referred to as the nirvana, or the total freedom, liberation. Okay, the first seal, all compositing is impermanent. And we are all, some of us, maybe one or two are in your 20s, otherwise most of us were in your 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s. And we have, in our own life, we have experienced impermanence. Many people who you know 20 years ago, 30 years ago, 40 years ago, they are no more today with us. They're all gone. And your parents, your grandparents, your great-grandparents, many of them are not with us today. This is the gross impermanence. Impermanence where the continuum stops. Look at the beautiful, you have your own experience of the beautiful sunsets, the oceans, the beautiful spring, fresh air, sunlight, and the greeneries around. In autumn they're all gone, cold, and the gloomy, wet, and things around so yellow, no green. And 200 years ago, people like us today in France, some people are doing meditation together, some people are doing the prayers, some people are just in indulgence, some people just in the bed sleeping, and some people just in indulgence, wasting their life. And some depends on so much of expectation on the children. This is exactly what was happening 200 years ago. There were parents with the young children, expecting the children to do good, have so much expectation in the children's career. Children also, they have their own expectations, careers and so forth. And today, where these people, they're all gone, not even a single person is left today. That's for sure. This is impermanence. And at times, we hear about, we see the documentaries on what is known as haunted towns, haunted cities, where once the whole life was thriving. Perhaps millions, if not millions, hundreds, thousands of people were there. At one point, not even a single person is there. Everyone has either died or they left, abandoned the place, haunted place. And in some places, tsunami washed up the whole city, whole town. This impermanence is extremely powerful. And 200 years in the future from now, they're almost hitting 8 billion in population, human beings, 8 billion population. In 200 years from now in the future, guaranteed not even a single person is going to be there then. This impermanence. And this is very important for us to reflect on these, to know the reality. If you know the reality, you will prepare to encounter these challenges in the future. For this gross impermanence to be there, this impermanence means change. The change that you see must not be happening randomly, or must not be happening suddenly. Rather, the change should be happening year by year, month by month, day by day, hour by hour, minute by minute, second by second. The minute hand of the wall clock, we may not see that moving, but this minute hand, of course, is moving because of you see the changes that you see in the second hand. Second hand is moving. You can see this. Tuck, tuck, tuck. This is the change, and this change is actually happening also on the level of the minute hand, hour hand. So this is how all composite things, they invariably go through this momentary change, including body, including your near and dear ones, the best of the food, the best of the house, and so forth. These all undergo these momentary changes. And this momentary change, particularly when even the second, 1 second, when you see that it is divided into 100, how fast it moves. This is how fast all composite things move. If you cannot experientially understand how the duration of the second is split into 100 divisions, moves so fast, you press your timer on a mobile, you press the stopwatch on a mobile, see how it moves, the digits move so fast. This is how our body moves, our mind moves, the whole world moves so fast. There's no composite phenomena which does not follow this rule, the principle of the subtle impermanence. If you could truly reflect, feel that, it's very scary. Yet, there's great preparation for us to go to the ultimate freedom. Imagine, since our bodies move with such a fast pace, transitoriness, whole world is moving so fast. Just imagine that somebody picks you up and throws you in a very fast moving train. What will you feel? You will have so much of fear. Faster the train, more the fear. Likewise, we see that the train of our body, train of the world is moving so fast. Faster it moves, more the fear we have. Yes. And who decides where this train is taking us? It's decided by the driver. But the driver, if the driver is your mother, no doubt, he'll take you to a picnic spot. But if the driver is the terrorist, or under the sway of the terrorist, no doubt he'll take you to a slaughterhouse. In our case, who's the driver? A driver is a mind. And unfortunately, this mind, the driver, is under the sway, under the dictate of the two contaminations, worst of the contaminations, self-grasping ignorance, complemented by self-centered attitude. As long as our mind is under the dictate of self-grasping ignorance as the contamination, complemented by self-centered attitude, we will never be happy. It will only drag us into miseries and to more severe miseries. This is the meaning of the second seal. All contaminated things are suffering nature. What kind of suffering? Suffering sickness, aging, death, tension, depression, anxiety, anguish, bewilderment, and so forth. In other words, loss of freedom. We don't want to go through these experiences, but we have no freedom to choose not to have these experiences. In other words, in simple terms, what is misery? Misery is lack of freedom. Okay, one moment of such misery is good enough to nullify all the past experiences of the joys, the merriments, festivities, birthday parties, celebrations, so forth. One moment is just good enough to see the past experiences so gloomy, dark, and pain in agony. For example, the loss of near and dear ones is extremely, it'll just shock, it'll send a shock wave to your whole being. It's so painful. That's very true. And when will this come to an end? It'll never come to an end on its own. Don't think of these miseries like 2021. 2021 came to an end, whether like it or not, it came to an end on its own. But these miseries will never come to an end on its own. So what should I do? Yes, of course there is a way out, but only with a concerted effort. What would that effort be? So knowing that these miseries, they are the ultimate cause of miseries, is self-grasping ignorance. Until we deal with this miseries will never come to an end. How to get rid of this self-grasping ignorance? This ignorance is like darkness, and in the darkness can best be addressed, can best be removed by introducing the light of a flame, light. In a similar way, It is only through introducing the wisdom that the darkness of ignorance can be eradicated. What kind of wisdom? Wisdom, by the very definition, is the discerning mind whose apprehension of the object tallies with reality. What's the reality? The reality is what the Buddha indicated as the third seal. Everything is of the nature of emptiness, selflessness. While everything's nature is selflessness and emptiness, we see things as of not being empty of the purity. We see things as so pure, and not being empty of the selfhood. We see things of the nature of the concrete, the selfhood as so solidified, so objectified. These are misconceptions. Okay, how do I get rid of this? Let us meditate on emptiness in the form of guided meditation. This is going to be a very basic meditation, but okay, meditate emptiness. What are you doing? I'm meditating. What is your body doing? My body is in a meditative state. Okay, how does this person who you identified as yourself appear? How does this person appear to you? Like a dream, your mind having created this self, or the self is so objectified, so solidified there, independent of my mind, of course, so solidified there. And believing that this self exists as so solidified, objectified there, this is the self-grasping ignorance. How do you know that this is ignorance? How do you know that this is not the reality? Okay, if the self does exist the way it appears, as so object real, then let's not miss to remember what Arinagarjuna said in the Precious Garland. If the mirage were to be water, one of those close by the mirage see water. Likewise, if this self were to exist objectively, why don't I see this self as I go closer to this object? Okay, now let us go closer to this object. Going close to objects, whatever is not the self, we're going to ignore them because you're only interested in the objectively existent self. Okay, going closer to the self, we first see the very thin layer of the skin, which is not the self. Ignore this. Behind that, the fatty tissues. Behind that, the muscles, the cartilages, the bones, the heart, the lungs, the spleen, the gallbladder, the liver, the kidney, the intestine, and so forth. None of all these form the solid part of the body, and none of the solid parts of the body, and they constitute the element of earth, and none of the element of earth is the self. Next, element of water, 4 liters of blood, which is pumped in and out by the heart to different parts of the body. Of course, that is not me. Element of fire, the body heat, 2,500 joules of energy that a body has. Of course, that is also not me. Element of air, 4.5 liters of air which we breathe in and out through our lungs. Of course, that is not me. Element of space, 99.99% of the body is vacuum. Our body is made of trillions of atoms, and these atoms in the, say, essentially the atoms are vacuum in nature. They are just occupied, space occupied by the electrons, protons, neutrons is so minuscule as compared to the vast expanse of the space between the electrons and the nucleus. So essentially, the body that we see is so porous, it's just like empty. But I'm a solid person. The space is vacuum in nature. The space is also not me. What is left now? Element of consciousness or the mind is left. And people from distance can see me, but people cannot see my mind. And also that I'm a male, I'm a female. My gender is postulated on the basis of the body. And my mind is of the gender, so therefore this mind is also not me. Okay, now what are you seeing? Through this close analysis, through this ultimate analysis, we see that we are made of these 6 elements. Which of the 6 elements is to be identified as intrinsically one with the self? Or in other words, which of the 6 elements should be identified as the objective self? None, that's for sure. Okay, if the self is not to be identified as intrinsically one with these 6 elements, so can it be identified as intrinsically different from the 6 elements? Remove the 6 elements, see what is left there. Nothing is left there as different from the 6 elements. Stay in this experience. Okay, if at all, if there's something there from the object, you see 6 elements. None of the 6 elements is to be identified as intrinsically the self, nor the self to be identified as intrinsically different from the 6 elements. Where is the self from the object now? From the object, nothing is to be identified as self. Just stay in this experience where the self dissolves. Stay in this experience. Okay, it's amazing that that we get such experience where the self dissolves. But what's the benefit of this? What's the benefit of seeing that the self is empty from the object? That everything is nature, emptiness is self-existent. What's the benefit of this meditation? Yes, just as the self dissolves in this meditation, your sickness, aging, death, tension, depression, all our sorrows of life will dissolve in the experience of this meditation and emptiness, where all the sorrow dissolves. This is what the Buddha identified as transcending sorrow is absolute peace. Oh wow, that's amazing. Yes, indeed. This experience of the emptiness will help me remove all my agitation, sorrow, and stress, where my mind will instantly be uplifted to a state of lightness and freedom and peace, absolute peace. This is the meaning of transcending sorrows, absolute peace. Just generate this feeling. May I experience this total freedom from all my miseries in the experience of emptiness. Just generate this feeling. This is the final understanding of what renunciation means. Renunciation, it has many layers of the connotation. Very gross one is where you're able to renounce all the miseries. Very gross one. And the subtlest version is where I experience this emptiness in which all the miseries dissolve in the eyes of the ultimate analysis. And this is renunciation. Stay in this aspiration. May I experience this transcendence of sorrow with the absolute peace where all my miseries dissolve. Okay, next we move to bodhicitta. Oh, for the bodhicitta, yesterday I did mention that there are two methods, and in group, until we are particularly meditating or retreat on just the pure bodhicitta. Otherwise, for this kind of meditation, the group retreats, we do the four immeasurables, and then we'll end with the bodhicitta commitment. Okay. We do the four immeasurables now. Ready? Again, the same thing. It's to invoke the experience. And some of you may feel that no experience comes to me. Don't worry. When I say this, it is like, say, the blueprint being shared with you. Eventually, we are to get this experience, we need to have the conviction. And experience comes from meditation. For this, we need conviction. Conviction comes from the reflection. And the reflection is possible with extensive studies. So we have the three, say, the kinds of the wisdoms. Wisdom of learning or study, wisdom of reflection, and wisdom of meditation. So these three should go in sequence. Okay. Ready? Four immeasurables. The first, immeasurable loving kindness. How good would it be that all my dear mother sentient beings are endowed with happiness and the causes of happiness. Causes of happiness primarily consisting of the bodhicitta, the unconditional love of bodhicitta, and the fearless mind of the wisdom of emptiness. May all my dear mother sentient beings be endowed with happiness and the cause of happiness. I will take the responsibility that all my dear mother sentient beings are endowed with happiness and the cause of happiness. The Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, witnessing their make such a courageous commitment, their intense happiness and proud of you, this pride and happiness invoke their compassion omniscient minds to send for nectar of very soothing lights towards you and ultimate sentient beings. Their mere touch of lights and nectars with the bodies brings in yours, instills in all happiness and the cause of happiness within you and all ultimate sentient beings. And you witnessing such a miracle is happening towards you and ultimate sentient beings. Sigh with relief. Take 3 deep breaths, sigh with relief. Next, immeasurable compassion. How good would it be that all my dear mother sentient beings are freed from suffering and the cause of suffering. Cause of suffering primarily consists of self-grasping ignorance, the gross afflictions, and the contaminant karmas, complemented by the self-centered attitude. May all my dear mother sentient beings be freed from suffering and the causes of suffering. I will take the responsibility that all my dear mother sentient beings are freed from suffering and the causes of suffering. The Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, witnessing that you make such a courageous commitment, they intensely happy and proud of you. This pride and happiness invoke their compassion omniscient minds to send for nectars and very soothing lights towards you all dear mother sentient beings, thereby washing away all the miseries and the cause of miseries from the minds of yourself and all dear mother sentient beings. And you witness that such a miracle is happening towards all your dear sentient beings. Take 3 deep breaths, sigh with relief. Next, immeasurable joy. How good would it be that all my dear mother sentient beings are never separated from happiness and the causes of happiness that they're endowed with. May all my dear mother sentient beings never be separated from the happiness and the causes of happiness that they're endowed with. I'll take the responsibility that all my dear mother sentient beings are never separated from happiness and the causes of happiness that they're endowed with. The Buddhas and Bodhisattvas witnessing that we make such a courageous commitment, they're intensely happy and proud of you. This pride and happiness invoke their omniscient minds to send for nectars and soothing lights towards you and all dear mother sentient beings. The mere touch of light nectars with the bodies of beings yours stabilizes the happiness and the cause of happiness the beings are endowed with. And you witnessing such miraculous happenings towards all the dear sentient beings. You are intensely happy. Take 3 deep breaths, sigh with relief. Next, immeasurable equanimity. How good would it be that all my dear mother sentient beings are freed from the biased attitude or excessive attachment towards some and aversion towards others, and instead abide in the great state of equanimity, living embracing all other dear mother sentient beings equally, leaving none aside. May all my dear mother sentient beings abide in the great state of equanimity, embracing all other dear mother sentient beings equally, leaving none aside. I'll take the responsibility that all my dear mother sentient beings abide in the state of equanimity, freed of biased attitude, embracing all other dear mother sentient beings equally, leaving none aside. The Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, they are so happy and pleased, proud of you. This pride and happiness invoke the compassion of omniscient mind to send the nectars of very soothing lights towards you and all dear mother sentient beings. The mere touch of light nectars with the bodies of beings yours makes the beings abide in the great state of equanimity, embracing all other dear mother sentient beings equally, leaving none aside. And you, witnessing such a miraculous happening towards all your dear mother sentient beings, you are intensely happy. This happiness makes you take 3 deep breaths, sighing with relief. Underscoring all the 4 immeasurables is unconditional love towards all the beings. Just abide in the experience of unconditional love towards all the beings, imagining that you are looking at the eyes of each of the sentient beings with immense love and affection, to the extent that each of the sentient beings feel themselves as so special in your eyes. With folded hands, let us make a bodhicitta commitment. I'll say this line of bodhicitta commitment, and let's all say this 3 times together. Wholeheartedly, try best to invoke this experience as you say the words. May I become Buddha for the benefit of all my dear mother sentient beings. May I become Buddha for the benefit of all my dear mother sentient beings. May I become Buddha for the benefit of all my dear mother sentient beings. Just abide in this most beautiful mind of the bodhicitta, most beautiful mind in this universe. Slowly transform this beautiful mind of bodhicitta into a spotless, clean moon disk white moon disk, horizontally sitting at the heart. Okay, that's amazing that you made such a courageous commitment to become Buddha for the benefit of the sentient beings. But what guarantees that you can become a Buddha? No matter how much you squeeze a handful of sand, no oil will come out of that. Likewise, how do you know that you can become Buddha? Yes, that's true. I'm not like a handful of sand. My mind is like a handful of sunflower seeds. Squeezing a wedge, no doubt, the oil comes out. Likewise, no doubt, the Buddhahood comes out if I put it the concerted effort, proper effort. But since time immemorial till now, you have never become Buddha. So today, how can you say that you can become a Buddha? Yes, that's true. So far, I've been deceived by the two demons, self-grasping, ignorance, self-centered attitude. Today, I'm disillusioned by these two demons. Henceforth, I would only put effort to exterminate these two demons. How are we going to do that? But it's sort of a very powerful the remedy of the wisdom of emptiness. Okay, let us meditate on emptiness. Let us quickly retrieve the experience of the emptiness which we meditated as the third seal of the forces of Buddha's teachings. What are you doing? I'm meditating. How does this self appear to you? As objectively real or like a dream that your mind is creating it? Of course, so objectively real. If it does exist objectively, the closer we go to this object, we should be able to find it. Remember what Nagarjuna said: if the mirage were to be water, one of those close by the mirage see water. Okay, let us go as we go close to this object, we see the six elements: earth, water, the fire, air, space, and consciousness. Okay, now you have come too close to the object. If the self does it objectively, you should find this self there objectively. What do you find now? I just end up seeing the six elements. Which of six elements is objectively the self? None. Then if it does exist still, if you think it exists objectively, then keeping aside the six elements, see if it exists as intrinsically different from the six elements. Leaving aside the six elements, nothing is there to be identified as self. Stay in this experience. From the object where is the self simply dissolves into emptiness. Stay in this experience for a while. This is the most fearless mind that possibly exists in this universe. Slowly transform this wisdom of emptiness into a spotlessly clean white Vajra, vertically sitting on the moon disk of your heart. Okay, it's amazing that you have this Russian moon now. The moon symbolizing the conventional bodhicitta to eradicate the self-centered attitude. The Vajra symbolizing the ultimate bodhicitta to eradicate the self-grasping ignorance and all its offshoots and the subtle stains. No doubt you're going to experience the total fearlessness of nirvana and the infinite happiness of Buddhahood. But let us not forget all the dear sentient beings. Your two extremely kind parents, your children, your family members, all dear sentient beings. What's the point of you becoming enlightened if everybody is suffering terribly? That's very true. With intense compassion and loving kindness, the Vajramuni heart multiplies, is invoked to multiply infinite number of times. And share one set of Vajramun at the heart of your mother, and that set of Vajramun at the heart of your dad. With each of your children, with each one of your family members, with each of the people, animals, insects, the cats, dogs, the spirits here in France, in the world, in the Milky Way galaxy, in the entire universe. Now all the dear sentient beings have the share of the Vajra moon from you. That's amazing. Let us not forget that all the Buddhas, Bodhisattvas are watching us, like the parents watching the very innocent young daughter, young son, when doing so good, This is exactly what all the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas are watching us. Why not we invite all the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas to be the witness and the guests to this, to our undertaking the aspiration Bodhisattva vow ceremony. So as a gesture of making the request to all Buddhas and Bodhisattvas to be the guest and to be the witness to our undertaking aspiration Bodhisattva vow ceremony, let us slowly stand up along with all Tiamat sentient beings to make 3 prostrations to all Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. See if you can sit on your knees. Whereas if you have knee problem, back problem, then sit in whatever position is more comfortable. Otherwise, you don't know your right knees. On your right knees. If you feel pain, then sit in the most comfortable position. Okay, and because it'll take a little time, and as you sit on your right knees, if you start to feel the pain, then I would suggest you to sit on them, sit in the comfortable position. Okay, English, I think it's page 50. Yes, English page 50. Okay. This is actual ceremony, and we are very, of course, because of the Kalachakra Center, we are getting this opportunity to do this practice for the next 10 days while we are here together. It is very, very, very fortunate that we are doing this together. Okay, the first verse we'll say this 3 times together. And I'm going to quickly explain this for today. From tomorrow, no more explanation. We'll just straight away read the verses. As we recite these verses, the meanings must be reflected, and to the best of your ability, the experiences should be invoked. And we are taking the Bodhisattva vow. This is known as the Bodhisattva vow. There are 2 kinds. One is the aspirational Bodhisattva vow, and the other one is the engaged Bodhisattva vow. There are 2. And the aspiration Bodhisattva vow does not require any commitment, and you just make good feeling, wish that henceforth, to the best I can, I'll be kind towards others, if not, at least not harm others. This much if you can make commitment is good enough. Whereas for the actual Bodhisattva vow, then the 18 infractions are there to be refrained from, and some degree of experience of bodhicitta should be there. Unless you have that, you are not entitled to take the Bodhisattva vow, actual Bodhisattva vow. But here, this is, in fact, anybody can take this aspiration Bodhisattva vow. So because that the Bodhisattva vow is taking a vow, pledge that I'll become Buddha for the benefit of all sentient beings. So we're going to attain the Buddhahood. This is not an easy task. Thank you. That is not an easy task. It requires lots of preparation and great support. And page 50. Okay, it requires a lot of support. And the greatest support that we can think of is the triple gem, Buddha, Dhamma, and Sangha. The first line reads, I go for refuge. I go for refuge to the triple gem. And then in this journey, when you do undertake a journey, the road must be clear. And the road is none other than your mind. If the road is blocked by trees, boulders, and so forth, your journey is interrupted. So the road is none other than our own mind. Our mind must be clear of the border of the negativities, negative thoughts, and negative karmas, afflictions, so forth. And the best way by which to clear the mind of these negativities is by confessing the negativities. Second line says, I confess the negativities individually. So now the road is clear, but if the car does not have fuel, again we cannot undertake the journey. So the car is none other than only mind, and your mind should have the inner fuel of the virtues, inner fuel of the merit. And the best way by which to do so, accumulate so much of merit within a short span of time, is by rejoicing in the virtues of others and rejoicing in the virtues of yourself. The third line says, I rejoice in the virtues of all the beings. So now the road is clear, the car is enough fuel. What kind of journey you are going to undertake? The journey of Buddhahood, to attain Buddhahood. The fourth line says, I hold the precious Buddhahood in my heart. Okay, let's say this 3 times together wholeheartedly. Imagine that all sentient beings are joining you, all the Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, they are watching us. And in the process, if you start to feel the pain in your knees, please sit comfortably. I go for refuge to the Triple Gem. I confess the negativities individually. I rejoice in the virtues of all the beings. I hold the precious Buddha in my heart. I go for refuge to the Triple Gem. I confess the negativities individually. I rejoice in the virtues of all the beings. I hold the precious Buddha in my heart. I go for refuge to the Triple Gem. I confess the negativities individually. I rejoice in the virtues of all the beings. I hold the precious Buddha in my heart. I go for refuge to the Triple Gem. I confess the negativities individually. I rejoice in the virtues of all the beings. I hold the precious Buddha in my heart. Okay, this is like a preparation, and the next 2 verses are the actual ceremony. Whereas you can use the first verse, what we said right now, that is the main verse for your taking the experience Bodhisattva. Even that is also possible. Some people can take the actual engaged Bodhisattva vow on the basis of just one verse which we read just now. Okay, so the next 2 lines, they come from Bodhisattva Sharideva's text. And this is extremely important. The first verse, this stanza is how this Buddha Shakyamuni, how the Buddha Shakyamuni, all the past Buddhas, how they succeed in benefit of all the Jnana sentient beings. So that is done on the basis of 2 factors. The first one is the motivation of the bodhicitta. They generated very strong bodhicitta motivation, make a commitment to become Buddha for the benefit of sentient beings. Then the next factor, to materialize this aspiration to become Buddha, they actually engaged in the bodhisattva practices. 6 perfections or 10 perfections. So the second verse is that I will also follow their footsteps. I will also generate very strong bodhicitta motivation, and then will engage in the 10 perfections and 6 perfections to materialize this aspiration. Are you ready? Gurus, Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, please behave to me. Just as previous Buddhas have generated the mind of bodhicitta, just as they successfully dwell in the Bodhisattva practices, likewise for the benefit of all sentient beings, I will generate the mind of bodhicitta, and I shall too successfully follow the Bodhisattva practices. Gurus, Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, please behave to me. Just as previous Buddhas have generated the mind of bodhicitta, just as they successfully dwell in the Bodhisattva practices, likewise for the benefit of all sentient beings, I will generate the mind of bodhicitta, and I shall too successfully follow the Bodhisattva practices. Gurus, Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, please behave to me. Just as previous Buddhas have generated the mind of bodhicitta, just as they successfully dwell in the Bodhisattva practices, likewise for the benefit of all sentient beings, I will generate the mind of bodhicitta, and I shall too successfully follow the Bodhisattva practices. Gurus, Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, please behave to me. Just as previous Buddhas have generated the mind of bodhicitta, just as they successfully dwell in the Bodhisattva practices, likewise for the benefit of all sentient beings, I will generate the mind of bodhicitta, and I shall too successfully follow the Bodhisattva practices. Okay, feel the joy of having received the aspiration Bodhisattva vow. Just feel the joy. And imagine all the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, they are so happy, so proud of you, like the parents, when they see the very little daughter or the little son, for the first time in his or her life, make a public appearance of the dance performance, whatever, represent school. The parents feel so proud. They're in the audience, waving their hands to you, saying that we are here and we are so proud of you. This is exactly what all the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas are feeling today. They are so happy and proud that today you have done something so good, and they witness the Buddhist Bodhisattvas that the Vajra moon at the heart, they multiply infinite number of times, and they descend to merge with the one that visualize at your heart, thereby becoming non-dual, stabilized, and blessed. Likewise, innumerable replicas of the Vajra moon from the hearts of Buddhist Bodhisattvas descend to merge with the one that visualize the heart of your mother, and the heart of your father, and the heart of each one of your children, your family members, everyone here, the human beings, animals, cats, dogs, insects, the spirits, and the god and goddesses in France, in the world, in the whole universe, all the sentient beings, thereby blessing the Vajra moon that you have shared with them. They become a non-dual, stabilized, and blessed. Okay, so this is a great practice. We are very fortunate that there's a great, incredibly great virtue, and Buddhist Bodhisattvas, they feel so proud of you, and that in this universe, this is the greatest gift that you can think of making to the dear mother sentient beings, and today you did it. And of all the offerings, this is the best offerings that you can think of to be offered to all the Buddhist Bodhisattvas. Today you offered it. And your life, this is the greatest meaning. And today you extracted the greatest meaning out of your life. And you have given such meaning to your life. And this all happens because of the kindness of all the Buddhist Bodhisattvas. As a gesture of thanking all the Buddhist Bodhisattvas, along with all the other sentient beings, let us slowly stand up to make 3 prostrations to all Buddhist Bodhisattvas. Okay, English. Now let us turn to page 51. This is we see that today we are able to generate or take the aspiration bodhisattva vow. And in the next life, what about next life? So we need to be connected to this teaching, to these 2 teachings on bodhicitta, wisdom, and emptiness. To be connected, number 1. Once connected, not only be connected, but rigorously engage in this practice to become enlightened. So 2 things are required. First, we need to include in the form of very powerful prayers that we be connected to all the Buddhist Bodhisattvas with these 2 teachings, for the sake of these 2 teachings, and then to feel the joy over having taking the aspiration bodhisattva vow or general bodhicitta. So this will make you to engage in this path very rigorously in the future lifetimes till Buddhahood. Okay, let's recite the first verse 3 times. Throughout my future lifetimes, may I always be guided by the compassion Buddha and be able to uphold the true precious bodhicittas even at the cost of my life. Throughout my future lifetimes, may I always be guided by the compassion Buddha and be able to uphold the true precious bodhicittas even at the cost of my life. Throughout my future lifetimes, may I always be guided by the compassion Buddha and be able to uphold the true precious bodhicittas even at the cost of my life. In order to further increase this bodhicitta from now on, those with discernment who have lucidly seized an awakening mind of bodhicitta in this way should highly praise it in the following manner. Today my life has borne fruit, having well obtained this human existence, I've been born in the family of the Buddha, and now I'm one of Buddha's children. Thus, whatever actions I do from now on must be in accord with the family. Never shall I disgrace or pollute this noble and unsullied race. Just like a blind person discovering a jewel in the Hebrew rubbish, likewise by some coincidence an awakening mind has been born within me. It is the supreme ambrosia that overcomes the sovereignty of death. It's the inexhaustible treasure that eliminates all poverty in the world. It is the supreme medicine that quells the world's disease. It is the tree that shelters all beings, wandering and tired on the path of conditioned existence. It is a universal bridge that leads to freedom from unhappy states of birth. It is the dawning moon of the mind that dispels the torment of disturbing conceptions. It is great sun that finally removes the misty ignorance of the world. It is the quintessence of butter from the churning of the milk of Dharma. For all those guests traveling on the path of conditioned existence who wish to experience the bounties of happiness, this shall satisfy them with joy and I shall place them in supreme bliss. Today, in the presence of all the protectors, I invite the world to be guests at a festival of temporary and ultimate delight. May gods, demigods, and all be joyful. Okay, on the direction prayer. Okay, so this, given that this is day one, let us pray that by the virtue of this coming together, all of us, let us pray that His Holiness the Dalai Lama lives long and that His wishes be fulfilled spontaneously, and that all the leaders, all the world leaders, they learn from him. They learn from his spirit of compassion, his spirit of dialogue, so the world will come to become more harmonious, where all the wars and unnecessary conflicts, they all resolve. Let us also pray that all the great teachers like Lama Subarumachi, they thrive in the activities of giving teachings of Dharma to the other beings, and their aspirations be fulfilled spontaneously. And all the learning centers, such as the Ganden, Sera, Depong, and all the monastic institutions of the Chinese Buddhist traditions, Theravada Buddhist traditions, and Tibetan Buddhist traditions, they thrive in the activities of study, reflection, meditation. And also that the learning centers such as Kalachakra Center and all these thousands of centers all over the world, they be able to thrive in the activities to benefit all the lay people around in the pursuit of the Dharma for enlightenment. And let us also pray that people who are really working for these Dharma centers, through selflessly working for the center, like the Venerable Elizabeth and Megale and the Venerable Jimbala and Sophie and so forth. There are many of you who are volunteering, and there are many such people in the other centers as well. Let's pray that all of them have good health, and that the pursuit of the journey of enlightenment becomes effective and fruitful. Yeah. So with this mind, let us say these verses together. I dedicate the merit thus gathered to its realization of the deeds and the prayers of Buddhas and Bodhisattvas for 3 times, and to the upholding of the doctrine, scripture, and insight. May I, in all lives, through the force of this merit, never separate from the 4 wheels of the Mahayana vehicle, and accomplish all the stages of the path of renunciation, bodhicitta, perfect and the 2 stages. For my 2 collections, vast space that I've amassed from working with effort at this practice for a great length of time, may I become the chief leading Buddha for all those whose minds wisdom is blinded by ignorance. Om Gade Gade Paragade Parasangade Bodhiswatyatha Om Gate Gate Paragate Parasamgade Bodhiswatyatha Om Gate Gate Paragate Samgade bodhisvatyata om gate gate paragate parasamgate bodhisvaha. Okay, we'll make 3 prostrations together.